Hey campers, Georgia, back in the man cave. Just got back from work. Check this out. Came in the mail. Yep, it's a portable folding knife sharpening system. Yep, from Xarilk. These guys, I don't know how to pronounce their name. Looks pretty interesting. Let's check it out. So what I'm talking about here is these guys, who I can't pronounce, have sent me a couple of sharpening systems. They sent me the original Generation 2 and then Generation 3. Well, this one isn't a generation. It's just a whole new system. And the nice thing about it, portable. Now, it is the swing-on thing, and it started off with the one clamp to hold the knife. Then they decided to split the clamp so you can move it wider or thinner according to the length of the blade. And they did some other stuff as well, which was a big improvement. But this is something totally different. Portable. It's small for one of those big sweepers. I've been reading the instructions. Basically, it just came in a box. No way to carry it or anything like that, which kind of surprised me. They say it's portable. Well, what's portable? Something you can carry around, right? And it's small enough you can do that. If you find a nice bag to put it in, like I did, this one here, I used their packaging to put it in there. Not only that, to be honest, it's my Dremel bag. It's the perfect size, and I don't use my Dremel bag. So this works for me. You can go out and find one that is about this size and fit it all in there with extras. Now, they did send me extras. This, which is the new sharpening stones, different from previous. If you remember the previous ones, if you saw them on my sharpening kits, the base of the stone was plastic with the diamond stone on top. A lot of people didn't like that, and I agree. The plastic's going to get damaged, that sort of thing. It flexes, not good. So what they did was they sent a newer version. And here it is here. And you can see they have a steel backing and the diamond stone on the top. Much better. It's not going to flex or anything like that. But then they upped the game. They sent me their latest ones. Now, when you use a diamond stone, I've always been taught you never oil it. And if you do, you want to put as little as possible onto that stone and just spread it very thin. You know, when you're getting down to 1,000 grit, 2,000 grit, you don't want to be oiling it because the oil just brings all the scrapings together and it turns into a really mucky system. On the heavier grit, probably a good idea, but they improved that as well. If you look at these ones, you see the stone here? It's just a regular diamond stone, flat, right? The new ones, this is the 240 grit that they sent me. Look at that. It's like honeycombed. You see that? Okay. Well, what that does is if you do put oil, or even if you don't, the filings fall in between. It's got those little gaps, so it's going to stop the stone from getting clogged. Obviously, whenever you're done using these things, you need to clean them off, wipe them off, wash them off, whatever you want to do, and get rid of all the buildup on it, because after a while, you're not going to be able to sharpen anything on with all the buildup on there. But this was a great idea so that all those filings go in between. Very cool. So that's what they sent me. They actually sent me 2 sets. Now the kit comes with 3, and the 3 they send you are these 3 here. the 320, the 800, and 2000. You can see them there. Okay, very cool. Well, they say you can purchase the honeycomb, I'm going to call them the honeycomb stones, separately. And they come in a pack of 4. And this one, and I'm not sure if you can choose what you want. I think it just comes standard with these 4. 240, 400, 600, and 1000. More than enough for what you need to clean up a really fine blade, for example, if you're a chef or something like that, for cooking cutlery, that sort of thing, a really fine point out, you're cleaning them up with 1000. I personally, even after I've done that, like to strop. And that was one thing I added to my system. Now, like I said, the honeycombs are an option. So if you'd like to use those, you would just buy them and they send you in a pack like this. I thought that was a nice big upgrade. The whole idea of portable, awesome. Because I'm going to show you the bag that I have the last system in. Let me get it for you. Here you can see this is the Generation 3 system. I have it in this heavy case here. And there's other stuff in here. I have my workshop bench top and this sharpening puck for my axes. The bench top for me is a great system for small folding knives and that sort of thing. I just think it works better than this. But if you have big fixed blades, things like that, this system is great for it. You know, you've got a lot of options here to spread out and change the size of the blade you're going to use. But it's not portable. It's huge. You can see how big the box is. So this system here, it's small. It's tiny. The only problem I'm having right now is I've got to figure out how to put it all together. And from reading the directions, and they're pretty good directions, not only do they show you how to put it all together and how it works and set it up, they talk about what sort of grits you should be using for what chores you want to do. And then they talk about angles, and here is their recommended sharpening angles in degrees for your different types of knives. Table knife, bread knife, home kitchen, professional chef, carving, boning, fillet knife, folding, hunting knives, pen knife, universal chopping knife. They give you the whole thing, and they give you some pretty good tips. Now, I was looking at it, and to be honest, I pulled it out and opened it up and tried to figure it out because it was a little unusual. But once I saw it, and I was like, okay, great. But I had questions, and I went back and had a look. And there's a tip right here. They call it a tip. I don't think it's a tip. I think this is an important thing. We'll get into that. And I'm going to have a cup of coffee. This is everything it comes with. Okay? This is your swing arm, which holds your 3 sharpening stones. And here's the base plate. Now, one thing they did say, when I saw portable, I was thinking, wow, you could take that camping if you're a hiker or something like that, and you're going to be out for a long time and using your knives and everything, preparing fire and things like that, you're going to have to sharpen stuff. And I thought that would be great. The problem is you need a flat surface. So if you don't have a flat surface, so you're going to need a table or something, a really flat stone or whatever, to use the system. Is it important? You could probably figure out how to do it on a reasonably flat surface. But the first thing you do is you look, here is the base, and you can see it here. Okay. And when I looked at it, I thought, wow, that's great. Look, this lifts up. Where's the clamp? Okay. Then I read the instructions, and this actually goes all the way around. There's a locking screw right here. And it flips all the way around. There's a little ball bearing with a spring, and it'll pop in there. Let me get this out of the way. Just like that. And you're going to put that screw back in to hold it in place. Okay. There it is there. And there's your jaws, which I thought was pretty cool. Now we have the base set up, and you're looking at, these are the jaws where you're going to hold the blades. Okay. This here will allow you to adjust the angle of your sweep arm. And then it's got a fine adjustment here, which will allow you to do it. You're wondering what those noises are? Yeah, let me show you. Mary, what are you doing? Oh boy, look at that face. She's having a moment. She's bouncing all over the room, sorry. And here are your jaws. You get an Allen key with it, which allows you to tighten the jaws. By the way, this Allen key doesn't fit the other systems. It's a different size. Understandable, smaller. You got to put this together, okay? And it goes in here because you're going to do the slip sliding here. Now, when you get it, these aren't attached. I put them on. So what you're going to do is you're going to put this in here and you're going to screw this together. But you can see it, they just screw in, okay? And now this is your swing arm, okay? How do you put these on? Using these things here. See them? This is what I'm talking about here. You see these things? Now, if you look carefully at them, they have, I'll put this one on the wrong way around. I'll show you. But if you look at these, you see here, it actually has a little groove in there. And what that's for is, if you look at the plate, it has that angle right here, and that sits right in, okay? And what you're going to use is the spring to provide the tension to put it all together. So you're going to push back on the spring, and that gives you that tension, which is going to sit against this one, which I put on the wrong way around. Here you can see I have them the right way now. And if you look at it like this, when you put the stone in, same thing on that side as on that side, you have that angle. That angle will sit in there and in this side, okay? This one's sliding around right now, and I want to there's a reason for that. What you want to do when you put this together, you see it together there. I'm putting the tension on it with my thumb right now, which means when I push on this, it pushes against the spring. You see that? Okay. So what you want to do is you want to provide a bit of tension, and then you're going to tighten this screw. See that? Now I have tension there. The stone's not going anywhere. If I need to change the stone, all I do is pull back on this guy, okay? And all I'm going to do is just pull back and take the stone out, get the next stone you want, put it in there, sit it down, and let the spring go back. And you set. See that? And you're off to the races again. It's basically the same thing on all of them, except this is set up a little differently. You have to set this screw. So now we have that all set. You can see now, here is the base. This is where the knife goes, right here in this jaw. And you are sweeping here, and you can change the angle by lifting this up or down. Get as close as you want to. Do a fine adjustment using this. To raise and lower it, you would tighten this in, by the way. You tighten it when you get pretty close, and you want your fine tuning, will be using this screw here. So we're set up right now, except I'm not sure what stone I put in. I put 800 in. Okay, so you can see the whole system here. Depending on what you're going to sharpen is the angle you're going to choose. If you're not sure, like I said, they provide this book, and on the back, they give you some angles, recommended angles for the different knives. So what we got to do now is set it all up at the right angle on the blade we want to sharpen. Remember that tip that I said they gave us? This is what the tip says. It says here, tips. The knife holder itself has a 10-degree angle, comma. Direct measurement may result in errors. If you're going to have these systems, I highly recommend you get one of these. This is an electronic angle finder. And basically what it allows you to do is place this on your, for example, you'd have your knife set up there, and you would put this on here. see what your angle is, okay, and then adjust here to get the angle you want. The knife I'm going to sharpen tonight is one of my very favorite camp knives. It is the Condor Bush. This, to me, is the ultimate bushcraft knife. I haven't sharpened it since the last use. It's still sharp down here, but it needs clean up here. So I'm going to just, we're going to sharpen this guy. Okay. You have to remember that this is going in here. So they're saying that the knife is going to be at a 10-degree angle. We'll check that out. So they recommend a 40-degree full angle. So that means you're going to sharpen this side 20 and this side 20 and get a total of 40 degrees. It's a good angle for this type of knife. You don't want anything more than that. This is a heavy-duty knife, preparing fires with it, you're carving with it, you're doing some pretty heavy work. You don't want a thin, fine edge on here because it'll just curl with some of the stuff you do. So that's what we're going to do. Well, what they said was this jaw here is already at 10 degrees. So we're going to have a look at that. The way to figure it out is on the, and by the way, I recommend you get one. They're not that expensive. I think this one was like $20. I'm going to turn it on and put it on the base where this is on, okay? And if you look here, and we have almost a 1 degree, which tells me that my table's crooked. Keep that in mind. They're saying that when you put the blade in here, it is the same angle as this base here. Not the jaws here, but this base, because the jaws slope in. So they're saying 10 degrees there. Ideally, it should be about 11, right? We're almost at 11. Look at that. Pretty good. So there is a 10-degree difference here. What does that mean? This angle here, in order to make the angle you're going onto your blade, needs to be 10 degrees. Because you've got 10, 10, there's your 20 degrees. We're going to put the knife in. Now, one of the things I did notice about this is when you put the knife in here, whenever you decide to flip that knife, you've got to get this out the way. And the only way you can do it is by pushing it up here and sitting it down. I'm going to put this in here. You've got a blade facing you right here. Now, I like to give myself a lot of room between the front of the jaw here and the edge that you're going to do. If you get too close, what happens is this will rub against the jaw. So get it out as far as possible. So I'm going to line this up, and what I want to do, it is a curved blade. So I want to give it a sweep that kind of matches. I want to get it lined up. I have it there. I'm going to check here. I'm not too close to that, so we should be good. Now I'm going to tighten these down. Now I've seen people put tape on here, and I did that as well. The problem is when you put tape on there and you tighten it down, it's still slip. It'll slip on the tape. My issue is this. This is a carbon steel blade. This is aluminum. Which do you think is going to dent first, right? So you can give it a good tightening there. It's not going anywhere. I have my knife in there, and my knife here is at 10 degrees already because of this. So we need to set this up to sit on there, and this needs to be 10 degrees. And now you've got 10 here, 10 there, and there's your 20 degree. If I was to leave this like this and put this at 0, I would be sharpening my blade at 10 degrees. So we got to use this and this to get this in the right position. So if you look here now, I'm at 10 degrees. So I'm going to go down here to 10. Now I'll show you the rough measurement. I have it kind of sort of at 10, and I'm going to tighten that, and I'm going to show you the fine tuning to get my angle. See that? I'm right at 10, right there. Pretty cool, huh? Angle I have here, 10 plus 10 is 20. We good, right? So we're actually ready to go now. Here's the other thing. I see people using this all the time. I did it because I saw other people doing it. And then somebody commented on it on the previous review on one of their products. I was doing this. And he said the problem with that is you sweeping, and your sweeps are different going across. He said, ideally, you should sweep one sweep across the length of the braid. Did you see that? That's why I always hold it down here, and that's why they say clamp it. All your weight is weight forward. So what you're going to do is you're going to put this on here and just sweep one long sweep all the way across the blade. You got to be careful when you go in here that when you get to the end there, you don't do that. Do you see what I mean? You want to just one sweep and get about halfway along the width of your stone and come back. Sweep. Now, ideally, and people talk about this all the time, you want to put a black mark here to see how well your grind is going. Okay, I have a black marker here. Is put a black line along the edge of the blade, like this, where you're going to be sharpening. So we've got that, and I have a dark edge along there. Now I'm going to take my swing arm and sweep. So I'm going to hold that. You should get a nice, even, cleaned edge when you do this. So that's what, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is 800 grit. Can you see how that edge is even all the way along? A nice, even scrape. Pretty cool, right? I'm going to do that a couple of times. We'll flip it over, do the other side, and see how we do. Ideally, you want to do this a couple of times and then feel underneath your blade coming from the back forward. And you want to go until you can feel that peeled edge. Remember, you want to sweep the whole length. Okay. Now I'm going to feel under here. And now I can feel the peels coming through there, and you want to feel it all the way along, not just pieces, because your blade might not be smooth. Now I'm using 800 yarn, because all I'm doing is cleaning up this edge. I don't need to reform the blade. So now I've got that peel there. Now I'm ready to flip the blade. And the way you do this, you have to be careful. You have a sharp edge here. Now, I'm going to flip it over, but look what happens. If I do that, I'm stuck there. You have to lift this up and flip it over. And I'm going to show you here. You see those holes? Pops right back in. And now I'm on the other side. And I'm going to repeat that whole process again. You want to get rid of that little peel that was there and make sure there's no peel here. Now if there is, you're going to flip it back over and do it again. Now I don't like to do that. I like to do both sides like this. Start to feel it coming through there. I'm going to stop there. The reason is I'm a big strop guy. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip the knife back over and take it out. So I need to lift it up, pop it down. You've got to be careful. Remember, you've got that sharp edge right there. Now I'm going to show you. You can see where I had the black marker, and you can see that edge. Look at that. Very consistent. That is the great thing about these sweep angles. Like I said, I'm a strop guy. I'm going to clean it up. So here we go. I'm just going to give it a couple of goes with my strop. Each side. The other side. And if you look at your knife, when you do this, that edge will get really, really shiny using a strop. When you get that, you want to feel no edge. Let's see how sharp it is. Okay, if it doesn't work, it's not the machine, it's me. But you can see that it works. This, remember, is at 20 degrees. Look at that. It's a thing of beauty. It's ready for work. Very cool. So you can see that's the process. You're going to sharpen a knife. There are many reasons not to rush. One, If you rush, you might miss and chip the blade, catch it at an angle, mess up the blade, that sort of thing. You want that sweep, be consistent with your sweep. Just make sure that you're consistent both sides. Once you've done that, when you're flicking that knife over, you got to watch it's sharp. And if you take your time, and then I like to strop. So if you don't have a strop, they send you a 2000 grit one if you want it. So there it is. That's a pretty quick look at how to use that system. And I can say that just about any sweeping arm system, as long as it keeps still, you can get the angles you want, and you take your time, they all work. These guys are cost effective. They are competitively priced, and you're getting that kind of result like that. Okay. Any of these systems, you're limited when it comes to a folding knife. And I'm going to show you that right. I was thrifting the other day, and you probably saw I got me a fisherman's knife. It's a nice long blade, right? Great. I mean, that blade, it's got some length to it, so it shouldn't be a problem, right? Look how thin it is. And let me put it in the clamp, and let's see if we can get our 20 degrees without scraping. A fish knife like that, I'd probably go for 17, but I don't want to mess with it because it'd take too long to set up. Here is the problem. And remember, I was telling you, you need to have that distance, right? Now, remember, we had it set at 20. Wow, we're good. Look at the gap. It's not going to catch it now. Will it work? Remember, we're at 20 degrees, and I'm not hitting that. If I change this to 17, which means I have to change this angle to 7, right? Well, 7 here, because I've already got 10. Okay, and make some final adjustments here. Are we going the right direction? No, we're not. Whoops, too much. So we're at 17. Are we going to hit that? Nope. So that's an improvement. On the other ones, when I was doing this, I found myself scraping these. So you've got to be able to get that extra, the blade to stick out enough so that you don't hit that. See that? I'm impressed. That was easier than the big systems. So there's a plus. You can take this system with you, do your fixed blade, and then your belt carry little folder that you have with you will work. I can tell you it won't work on a Victorinox. Their blades are just too small. But the nice thing about a Victorinox is, carry a ceramic rod. A couple of sweeps of that and your pocket knife's good to go again. A bigger pocket knife, I would use this system. So there you go. You and me, we learned something today. Let me find my piece of paper that I've lost again. These guys, portable folding knife sharpening system. Very cool. I like this. Like I said, the only problems I had, it would have been nice if they had had a carry bag come with it. This is available on Amazon. And what I'll do is I'll put links below for you. I'm not an Amazon affiliate. Sorry. I'll put links onto Amazon for you for the 3 different systems and to their Amazon homepage. But I like this idea. And, when I go camping, I like to take as little with me as possible. The main reason being is I hate carrying stuff. Even car camping. Load your car up and you go and camp, you got to pull everything out the car. I like to take as little as possible and small stuff. You all be safe, especially when doing this stuff. You've just made your cutter pretty sharp. One mistake and you're going to be bleeding. Never a good thing. So, I'd like to see what you think about this system. I can't believe how well it did on my cutter here. I love this knife. So there you go. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. pretty sure I'll be back. I'm pretty happy with this thing. I got to say, when I first read the instructions, I was like, oh, just saying. Thanks for watching. Always appreciate it. We'll see you again soon.